A quick note that I forgot to mention while recording this video is that to sign up with email and password, to let your user sign up with email and password, in your Firebase you have to go to Authentication and then sign in method here and then enable this email and password login. Alright, now onto the video. Hi guys, welcome back to the Python and Kivy tutorial for writing an iOS app. This part I think is going to be probably the most exciting, at least so far, because we're going to be working on the login screen and using Firebase to authenticate and sign up and sign in users. So first thing we're going to do is just getting the login screen written up like the interface. So I'll go and I'll make a new Kivy file. So this will be called loginscreen.kv. And let me just copy some of the stuff over from the settings screen, just pretty much like this canvas. Okay, so there's my login screen. Alright, my class will be named login screen. I capitalize those. And let's see, we'll put nothing here, we'll just make things run at first. I need to make sure I have a base class in my Python files. So class login screen inherits from the screen from Kivy, and we'll pass. Then over in main.kv, well, first thing I need to do is include that. So include kv slash login screen.kv. And now in my screen manager, I'm going to put my login screen before my home screen so that it's the first one that shows up for now. Okay, name will be login underscore screen, ID login screen. Okay, let's just run and make sure we can see a blank screen. Okay, so this is my login screen at the moment. I've colored it blue, but I haven't put any widgets in there. So I think maybe I'll put in a text input that says email and text input that says password, because that's what I'll use to sign people up. It's just a simple email and password, and then like a go button or something. Okay, so let's go to loginscreen.kv. We'll make a float layout, and we'll be using text inputs. So this one, I'll give it an ID so I can reference it later. Login email. And then I like this field called hint text. This kind of shows up as like a little grayed out text in there before you actually write anything. So it's good for giving people instructions. So I'll say email. And then size hint, I'll do 0.8 of the width and maybe 0.1 of the height. Pause hint, I'll put it down a little bit, so top 0.9 and right also 0.9. And then I'm going to need another text input, so I'll just copy and paste. This one will be for my password. So, login password. Hint text will be password, so they know to put their password there. And then I can set the password field to true, and that'll make it so that whatever you type there is like hidden by asterisks, so it looks like a password field. Okay, and then let's put this one down a little bit more, so maybe 0.7. And then I'm going to want to have just a label here, and I'll have this be like login message. And this label is going to be if they screw up their email or something, like they don't have a .com at the end, or just pretty much an invalid email, or if they're already signed up, it'll display that error message. And that error message will come from Firebase eventually. So I don't need any text here, but I'll make the color of the text red for when it does show up. I'll make it red because if something shows up, it's gonna be an error. So error in red sounds good. Maybe I'll just put something there so you can see when I show the screen. Okay, color is all red and no green and no blue. Position hint, I guess we'll put it at 0.4. I don't know. Size hint, that's fine. And then we need a button. I'll make a label button, and text will be sign up. Okay, and then we'll say size and position again. Put it down a little bit more, maybe 0.2. And actually, I'm going to make this look more like a button. So what I can do is I'll underline the text in here. So I can use these special characters, so brackets and then U for underline, and then \U to tell it when to stop underlining. I could also do like bold if I did B's, okay, or I could do italics like that. So I'm just going to do underlining because that's a pretty common theme, to underline a label if you can press it. And then to make these like formatters actually show up, you need to use this keyword markup and set it to true. Okay, and then let's see, on release. For now, I'll say app dot. No, I'll just print something for now. Sign up, and then maybe I'll say login email dot text. So I'm getting the text from this guy, and then I'll say login password dot text. So I should print the email and password. Okay, let's run it and see what it looks like. Email, password, sign up. I'll click it. Sign up, I got nothing there. If I put something, and you see that's a hidden password now, sign up. And okay, nice, it shows up. Maybe I want to add a little bit more functionality to my label button. I think I'll make it change colors when you press it. So I'll put a canvas on it. And at the start, it's just going to be the exact same color as the background, because I don't want it to look any different before you actually press it. So if you do press it, its state will change. So I'll say the color is this guy if self.state is normal. So that means if it's not being pressed, it's that color. Else, so if it's being pressed, I'll say instead of that color, maybe 3, I don't really know what color this is going to look like, but 3244 AA. I have no idea what that looks like, but it'll look different. Oops, I got an error. Oh, there we go. Just had to indent it one more time. Okay, let's run. Let's see what our screen looks like. Oops. So this didn't show up. Although if I'm clicking it, okay, so something's happening. You can see I'm still pressing the button. Let's see. I think if I use canvas.before, so let's paint the canvas a little bit earlier. So my colors come out, or my colors are set before the text is. So let's see. Okay. Nice. Although I am getting some weird little black rectangle, if you guys saw that. Why doesn't it like that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know why it's not happy. Maybe that's not a valid color. Let's see if I get an error. Still that weird thing. Okay, well for now it's okay. Alright, so I have my little button to sign me up. Changes color when you press it. It actually kind of looks nice. I like that color. So now let's actually get the function made that works with this. So now I'm going to be working with Firebase's REST API. So I'll be making a call just using the request function as I have before in some of the earlier videos. But this is going to be a little bit more complicated. So I think I'm going to create a new Python class just so I can organize my code a bit better. So I'll call it myfirebase.py, something, I don't know, something like that. Okay, class myfirebase. Then maybe I'll have a function to sign up. Okay, and that should probably take an email and a password. I won't do anything for now. And then maybe also one for signing in. I'll just leave that for now. I'll work on it in a bit. So when I press my sign up button here, I want to be calling this function sign up. So let me go import this guy inside my main.py file. So from my Firebase, so that's this module that I just made, import my Firebase. And now I'll create a variable in here. I'll say self dot my Firebase equals my Firebase. Instantiate it. Okay. And now I will, for my login screen, when I press the button, I'll say app dot my Firebase dot sign up. Then I'll give it the email. I'll give it the password. Okay. And then let's just print sign up. Okay, so if we see that, then everything's working so far. Okay, so I'll just hit sign up. Something broke. Okay, I spelled text wrong somewhere. Here we go. All right, second try. Sign up. Okay, here we go. I got my sign up printed. Nice. Okay, so now I actually need to send email and password to Firebase. Okay, and then Firebase is going to return a couple of things, and this is, I suppose, like a learning part of the video. So Firebase will return a local ID token, or a local ID, an auth token, and a refresh token. Okay. The local ID is going to be a unique identifier of the person signing up. So you can use that. I'll be using that to store everybody's data. So like their workouts and their friend ID, that'll be stored by their local ID. So really this local ID will replace what I have here right now. So right now I have it sort of by friend ID, if that was your friend ID. So really I'll replace this to have the local ID here, which is like some kind of gibberish number. It's a hashed thing. So I have local ID there, and then inside the local ID I'll have all this data, and I'll have an extra field that'll say friend ID, and it'll be 1, and then some gibberish local ID here, and then friend ID would be 2. Okay, so that's what the local ID is. That's the unique identifier for this email password. And then the auth token is something that you can send Firebase anytime you're making a request, like a post or get request, that shows who you are. It's basically your authorization. And in the Firebase rules, I'll show in just a second, you can only allow certain people based off their auth token to do certain things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it so you can only change your own workouts. You can't change, your friend's workout or something. That's how I'll use the auth token. And then the auth token also expires after 1 hour. So basically the refresh token is one that doesn't expire. So you can query Firebase with your refresh token to get a new auth token. And then you can continue working. So that's kind of like that's the sign in portion. So if you don't do anything for over an hour, then you need to sign in again, and that's using this refresh token. Okay, so I don't remember the exact URLs that we have to query, but I have them written down over here. This is when I was playing with things. Okay, to sign up, I have to go to this URL. Okay, Google APIs, Identity Toolkit, blah, 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 sign up new user. Okay, so I'll copy this guy. Oh, and by the way, we're going to need requests and JSON. Okay, so sign up URL is this guy, and then you have to pass it this key. Now, this key is the web API key, which you get if you look over at your Firebase project. You go here, you click on settings, and you go to project settings, and this is your web API key. So you're going to need this to sign up a new user. So I'll copy that and let's see, I'll call it WAC for web API key. WAC is that, web API key. Okay, so my signup URL, I have to concatenate it with my WAC, self.wac. All right, and then to sign the new user up, that's where you send this URL some data. So I'll be using requests to post to this URL, and now I need to give it some data. So I'll be sending some data. I'll call it signup data. So I'll be sending my signup data to my signup URL, okay? And then the response I get back will be holding these guys. So signup data will be a dictionary. So I have to send in an email parameter. That'll just be my email. I'll send it my password parameter, and that'll be the password, of course. And then I need to include this return secure token field and have that be true. And that's just necessary. If you read the API, it says make sure you have that. All right, so now I'll say request, maybe sign up request, so I'm really explicit. Sign up request is requests.post sign up URL, and then sign up data. Okay. Oh wait, data equals sign up data. There we go. And now let's see. I'll print sign up request dot okay. So I'll make sure that it's okay or not. I'll show you guys that, and then I'll print what it sends back to .content.decode. All right, so let's run. So if I just hit sign up with nothing in there, I received a message and it said false. So it did not go okay. Then the message is invalid email. All right. Let's try again with an email in there. So maybe foo@ok.com, but no password. Let's see what happens. Missing password. Okay. So this is coming back from Firebase. So Firebase is doing all of this sort of conditioning for me. It's checking if the email is valid. It's checking if the password is there or not. So I don't have to do any of that on my end, which is great. And you can see that, well, here's what I'll do so you can see a little bit easier. Remember that message that I made over the login screen? This label called login message? I'll populate that with the message that I get back from Firebase, so the users can see if they screw up their email or something that they have to fix their email or put in a password. So let's say error message is sign up, or I guess if there's an error message, so if sign up request.ok is false, then I will get the error message. So I'll say my error message is sign up request content.decode. I gotta load it. Error message. I guess this is really error data. Error message is error data. And if I look in here, I need to get error, I think. Let's see, error. And then inside the error, I need to get message. Okay, and then I need to reference this guy by his ID. So I can't use self.root.IDs anymore like I've always been doing, because self doesn't relate to my app anymore. But what I can do is I can from kivy.app import app. Okay, and now I can use this neat trick, which is app.getRunningApp. So now this takes place of my self variable right here. So the app.getRunning_app gets me basically this guy. So we can say app.getRunning_app dot root dot IDs, and it's in the login screen, right? And then get the IDs from the login screen. And what did I call this? Login message. Okay, so get the login message ID, and then set the text to be error message. Okay, so let's play with it. Now if I just hit sign up, okay, that's where that error was coming from earlier. This color didn't like, oh, I'm sorry, I have to put in a fourth value. So red, green, blue, and then this is the alpha parameter, the transparent opaqueness or transparency. Let's see, 1 makes it fully opaque, so I guess it's a measure of opaqueness. Okay, there we go. There we go. So why does it say invalid email right now? Oh, because I had it set there. Not supposed to do that. It's supposed to be hidden at first, right? Okay, if I run. Okay, so you don't see it. And if I hit sign up, invalid email. Okay, if I put foo@ok.com and hit sign up, missing password. Now if I do something like this, foo@ok, oh, maybe that's an OK email. Or if I just write foo, missing password, come on. Oh, because it is missing a password. Okay, I'll put something in here. Let's put foo. Invalid email again, okay? So it knows invalid email again. Foo@ok. Invalid email. It knows to check this. Now if I put at ok.com and I hit sign up, it's gonna work. So I'll do that. Oh, I got a weak password error. I haven't gotten that before. Funny. Okay, I'll put some 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see what happens. I do have 6 characters. 7. Email exists. Oops. Oh, so I put in the 6 characters and it worked, and it just didn't change the message. Okay, so let's see what happened when it worked. Here's the one that worked, okay? So this right here, signup_request.ok, was true. So it was okay. Nice. It tells me what kind of request it was. It was a signup request. And here's my ID token. So that's this auth token. Okay, so this is auth token, ID token. The email that I signed up with, the refresh token, remember that will let me sign in later once my ID token expires. My ID token expires in 3,600 seconds, which happens to be 1 hour. That's how Firebase is set. And then local ID. This is the unique ID for each one of my people that registers. So what I want to do if this went through okay, like if they signed up and it went fine, then I want to create a field in my database. You can see the video. I screwed up at one point. Okay, in my database, if I go to database and real-time database, now I want to use my local ID that I just got back and put in some information here. All right. So if signup_request.ok, I'll say true to be super explicit. Okay, if it was okay, I want to post data or create new key in database from local ID. All right. And also I'll save local ID. Yeah, I want to save local ID to a file, maybe. I definitely want to save refresh token to a file on the local system so that when they open up the app the next time, it can try to read that save file and automatically refresh their session with the refresh token. Okay, so I'll do that, and I'll save the local ID to a variable in main app class. So, and then I also need the auth token, ID token. So I'll save ID token to a variable in main app class. Okay, so let's do these things. With, I'll do this guy first. With, I'll call it refresh token dot txt, and I'll write as f.write refresh token, excuse me. So I think I need to define what refresh token is first. Refresh token is sign up data, and I look here, refresh token, okay? Sign up data, I have to define two. That's the sign up request.content.decode. I need to wrap it in a JSON.load string. Okay. Local ID is sign up data local ID. So here's sign up data. Here's local ID. All right. And then the last one is ID token is sign up data ID token. Right there. Okay. So f.write refresh token, that's good. So now I have it saved. So next time I load my app up, I'll try to check that, and then I won't have them go through the login screen anymore. I'll just automatically refresh their sign in. Now, save local ID variable in main app class. So I can say app.getRunningApp local ID equals local ID. Okay, and actually I'm going to replace this guy, so I'll cut him, and up here I'll say app. There, app is app.getRunningApp, so I don't have to keep running this guy out so much. So I'll replace this. Okay, and then put app right there. So this is pretty much like saying self.localID if I was in here. All right, and then app.id token is ID token. Nice. Okay, and now we're going to need to post some data. So I think I posted some data in the last video with the avatar screen. So where did I do that? Change avatar. So I patched the data. So I'm going to need to do something like this again. So I'll copy this guy. And I'll go to my Firebase. So remember, this is still only happening if the sign up was okay. So I'll paste in here. Request.patch. And now instead of my friend ID here, which meant that I wanted to put my data inside like this area because my friend ID was 1. Now I'm going to be putting my local ID here. Alright, so I'll be doing /local ID plus JSON. And then data will be my data. So new user data should be their friend ID. So I need to get friend ID. What else? Avatar, friends. Okay, so I need this is kind of where I'm putting all my default information about an account. So default avatar, and then maybe friends. So I'll say friends list, I guess I'll have that be empty for now. And then workouts, and I'll have nothing in there. Empty workouts area. So let's get that data written up. My data, so just to match this here, so my data is, and now I need avatar, and I'll have it be just the default man.png. Friends, I'll have be this empty list. Let's see, is that how that worked? Oh, I guess it was a string. I'll have it be empty. Workouts, I'll also have be empty. Okay, so now I think I want to authenticate my request to send data. So I want to authenticate it by making sure that nobody is trying to create basically any of these new fields unless it's for themselves. So that's where my auth token comes into play, or my ID token, and also some rules in my database. And I've already written these up because I was playing with them. So basically, the important one here is this guy. So these rules allow you to specify who can or cannot change data inside your database. And this was one of the examples in the guides and the documentation, and it was just what I needed to use. So there's a couple inherent variables that this rules section already knows about. So auth is one of them. Auth is basically like the authorization token that you send. So this is the authorization token that you send when you're trying to authorize your request, and it can reference different parameters inside that auth token pretty much. So when you send your auth token, it knows that this is your auth token, and then it has a UID associated with it. And this UID is actually your local ID. Okay, so Firebase, when you send it your ID token, it automatically associates auth.id or auth.uid, and that's your local ID. So this rule here, where I have this $ thingy, this means basically at the top level of my database, this is any key in the top level. So any key in the top level is just a variable. So I call it foo, I call it whatever. Really, it's the user ID, because in the top level of my database, I want to be having all of these user IDs. Actually, I'll call it local ID because that's explicitly what I have it in the code. So each one of these will be a local ID. So I want to make in my rules a variable, I'm just calling it local ID so it makes sense. Okay, so if you try to post to something in this section of the database, you better only be able to post there if your local ID is the key that you're trying to post to. Okay, that was hard to explain. Maybe you'll see what I mean. So yeah, I'll show you how it works. So let's play with it. So to authorize my request, I need to add a little bit to the end of my URL. So I'll do $auth equals, and then I need to add my ID token. Okay. Let's try it. Let's see if it works out. If it works, you'll see something pop up in my database here. Okay, so foo@bar.com and password 123456. Sign up. Okay, got an error. Key error, local ID. Oops. Or didn't it like that? Didn't like that? Sign up data? It was okay with refresh token. Let's print sign up data, see what we got. Okay, foo@bar.com. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, it already worked. So foo@foo.com. Sign up. Okay, local ID, it still didn't like. So here's my data. What's going on here? Local ID. What's wrong with that? Oh, oops. I've been calling sign up data and sign up data. I've used it twice here. So that was a bad mistake. So maybe I'll say sign up payload. Okay. There we go. And now this should be fine. All right, that was a bad coding. So let's try again. foo@foo2.com. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sign up. Okay, it didn't break. Let's see what it said. Okay, I saved my refresh token. Let's see what that looks like. All right, so that's the refresh token. Good. So that was this part working. And let's see if I wrote it to the database. I did not. So let's see here. Post request is that, and now let's print whether the post request was okay. And then we'll also print post request .content.decode. All right, so we'll look at the message when I try to update my database. All right, just some junk. Sign up. Okay, what happened? False. Invalid data. Oh, okay. So I didn't send my data correctly. Wasn't happy about this. How did I do it before? My data. Oh, okay, when you're posting things, you need to have these single quotes on the outside. It has to be a string. So I'll just do that right here. Okay, I have my single quotes. Let's see if that works. Some junk here. Sign up. Invalid email. Okay, I accidentally put a tab. Sign up. Let's see what happened. False. Oh, I have the, let's see, friendly fitness. I have two databases. One called Friendly Fitness App, and one's called Friendly Fitness. And I use Friendly Fitness App is the one that I use when I'm working on things behind the scenes. So my web API key was for this one, but it really should be for the one that I'm using for the video. I think that's what happened. Okay, this is the one I've been using for the video, I believe. Let's see. Yep, I think this is right. Okay, so I'll go to project settings, and I'll get my web API key like I showed before. And let me switch this. Here we go. And let's try again. Okay, some email. Something here. What do we get? It said true. It said my post request was true. So let's go look at my data now. Here we go. boom, here you go. You see my local ID and then the defaults that I have in here, man.png, friends, and workouts. So this would be like when a user just signed up, this is what enters the database. This is their unique identifier. I need to put in a friend ID here too, but I haven't quite thought about how I'll count what their friend ID should be yet. So I'll show that probably in the next video. And then I guess I get to show you the rules again a little bit more how they work, because right now when I tried to authorize my request using this guy, it didn't really do anything because the rules for this database, which I meant to be using, don't really care. So let's do this again. So I'll say if you're trying to write to something that's inside the sort of the root, this area in the field, this area in the database, if you're trying to write to something there, I'll call it local ID. Local ID, and then I'll set the permissions for that area. Write permissions. Oops, what's going on here? I don't like this editor at all. .write is only allowed if auth.uid triple equals, so make sure that's the same as what I'm writing to. So when I send it this ID token, that's auth, and Firebase knows from the auth the UID parameter. So I'm only letting someone write to something that is underneath their local ID, so their unique identifier. So you're only ever allowed to write to your own information. And then I'll have read be the same for now. That might change in the future. Okay, publish. Oops, what happened here? There we go. Okay, let's try again with a new user. You guys can see it working. Oops, invalid email. Sign up. Okay, let's go check my data. Here's my next user. All right, no friends yet. Poor guy. But you can see it's working. So great. Last but not least, if things have worked out all right, I suppose that we should change the screen that they're at. So what's our function to change screens? Here, app.change screen, and I'll go to the home screen. App.change screen, oops, home screen. All right, might get some errors, but we'll see. Something here. Oh, by the way, if I do something like fuedok.com, which I think I've already got. Oh no, okay, so that was a new one. Nice. And now I'm at my home screen after I've signed in. And I believe this is a new field, so perfect. So we've got our login screen. We have authenticated users. Maybe next video I'll show the returning automatic sign-in feature, because this one I think got pretty long. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope that was enjoyable and informational. Bye-bye.